if you could give advice to someone considering moving abroad, or someone, a person of color in particular, what would that be?
I would do specific women of
Yeah.
color, because that's we are at the bottom of the pyramid. It's crazy to navigate sometimes. But one thing that I would always say is never ever make yourself small. Do not allow someone else's perception of you or someone else's projections on you to define who you are as a person.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Pod Abroad. My name is Paulina de los Santos, and just for some context, I'm an American who has lived in Munich, Germany for the last 8.5 years, and I am having conversations with some good friends from all over the world. We are immigrants here in Germany, and we have stories to share and to tell. And I'm very, very excited today because I'm with a good friend, Omobolanle.
You called that nice.
Did I? Did I say it well?
Yeah.
Miss Omobolanle, otherwise known as Mo. But I think your full name is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. What can I say about Mo? How did we meet? It was at our former job, Allianz. It was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
The thick of it. And what else can I say? So Mo is from Nigeria. She has lived in Germany since 2018. Originally came for a master's program, similar to my story that you didn't go back. Like you just ended up here all these years now, like came for the master's and then like have
stayed.
Built a life and stayed. So yeah, what about you, Mo? Take it away. A little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay. I mean, Power said it. I'm Nigerian and I've been living in Germany for almost 7 years now. I'm currently based in Berlin. I was in Munich for like a year and it's weird, a little weird to be back. Every time, this is the second time I'm coming back since I left. And we're just like, oh, it's so different from Berlin.
It is.
Like Berlin is the ghetto.
The ghetto.
It is, but it's my ghetto.
Oh, exactly. No, true. I love reclaiming that word. Because on a side note, I once lived in Hasenbergl in the north of Munich, and I would commute to Neupellach, and people would be like, "Oh my gosh, like you live in the ghetto and you work in the ghetto," and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, y'all use that word lightly here in Germany
all the time." Yeah, I mean, we lived. I don't know if you remember, we lived in Neupellach also.
Yeah,
and it was a nice, cool neighborhood.
Safe.
Yeah,
and they love to throw around that word here. So, but like you said, Berlin is your ghetto.
Yes.
And that it is. Berlin's a vibe, right? Yeah. So different to Munich. I want to kick off this segment by asking you, what was your life like back in Lagos growing up? And then like right before you moved. Give us a picture for anyone listening and like curious about life in Nigeria.
Oof, okay. So I'll start from my childhood.
Yeah.
My childhood was pretty privileged and sheltered. So from when I was little till about 8 or so, my mom and dad were together and everything was fine and all of that. And then when I was 8, they divorced. And that was like the first time I ever had a tiny bit of an idea of what most children or other children went through. I think sometimes till now, when I still say some things amongst our friends, especially my husband and our other friends, Tayo and Tolu, are like, "Oh my God, keep quiet. It doesn't like you don't belong to this category." But
the category of what?
Of people that have struggle stories back home. So my dad was a very rich man, like a very, very rich man. He has 31 children. Dang. So I
remember when you told me that, I was like, what? I think you like whispered it in the office. I was like, what about your siblings, Mo? And you're like, there's 31 of us. Yeah. Cultural difference.
Yes. I think every time I say that, people are like, how? I'm like, yeah, we're good. We have a WhatsApp group. We're fine. So
love it.
We can recognize each other. But from my mom, we have 4. So I have 3 other siblings, an older brother, a younger sister, and a younger brother. And when my mom and dad divorced and we, of course, the norm in Nigeria is that when things like this happen, like 90% of the time, the kids would go with the mom, with their mom. And we went. And for a long while, she and my dad, they were battling it out. And all this time when things were not settled, I just saw a, a different side to her. Like she was not the wife of a rich man with multiple house helps, with multiple nannies and people that were constantly around her in the house. She was with my mom and my sister, with her mom, my grandmom, and her sister. But they also had their lives. So as much as they were helping with us, it was all on her with 4 kids. So it was quite a bit. And her strength, her resilience, and my grandmom and my sisters. Like, I think one of the things that really shaped me into who I am is the fact that I was raised by these 3 strong, really strong women. And I say this all the time, I had a really, really different upbringing, right? For example, I rarely got scolded, much alone being beaten. Like it never happened with
Is
me.
that normal in Nigeria?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a normal thing. And everybody jokes about it, around about it. And it's like, I say it all the time, like we have a generation of adults that are walking around with trauma. And it's just normal. At least thankfully, my generation, our generation, we're doing better with that. And I remember that at some point we moved to a different neighborhood, and then I kept I don't know, I sort of kept evolving from who I was, the way I was brought up. So I started school in the new neighborhood. I met new friends that had different perspectives from me. People that would, for example, that made me start saving. Before, I think, because there was no point to me saving my pocket money because I literally got everything I wanted. And then I had my aunt also, who was living in Germany at the time. Yeah, she was living in Germany at the time. And she would bring back almost everything I asked for. Yeah, I was a little spoiled. So then I would save my pocket money and then end up buying CDs, like music CDs and music books or something. I remember the first birthday present I ever bought for Dayo. It was like a really expensive album. And I think my friends were like, something is wrong with you. But I just, it's sort of, and I think it's part of why I am the way I am right now. Also, material things, I mean, money is really, really good, but it's sort of secondary in a grand scheme of things. And then I went to school, finished my university. I studied English, by the way, English literature.
Nice.
And I thought I was going to become an author.
Really?
I had plans. I thought I was going to become an author, but I had this plan, start working at the publishing house first. And I had like a 2-step plan and everything. But Nigeria happens to everybody. Like the economy is so insane that you work at the job you get. Not always at the job you want. And as at this time, Dayo, that's my husband friend, whatever he doesn't know.
Yeah, true.
Dayo was already at Access Bank. It's one of the top banks in Nigeria then. And he told me, just apply for this one. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do banking. I remember telling my older brother that I was going to do banking, and he was like, why? That's like so different. And at that point, he was trying to push me to do a master's. And I was like, you know what? I think I need a break from reading for now. So work, and then I will think about a master's. So I got into Access Bank, and I worked at Access Bank for about 5 years before I came to Germany. How was life just before I moved? Oof. Work was intense, but it was really good money for a 23-year-old. Then I was in Nigeria. I don't know if I have any Nigerian, if any Nigerian listening, I was earning about 270,000 naira per month. I had a car. I was given a car. So it was like the dream. It was the dream job, the dream lifestyle for any 23-year-old. So to be fair, life was really good.
Damn, and then you come to Germany.
I know.
Out of all places.
Life was really good. I think the only difference, the only thing that I can say is that even when you have your money and you're fine and everything in Nigeria, there are still some ways that Nigeria would happen to you and your money would not count. For example, you have an accident on the side of the road. First aid, like it would take perhaps 30 minutes or almost an hour for an ambulance to get to you. Or if the roads are blocked, or if the bad roads are there, it doesn't matter if you drive the most expensive car, you're still on the potholes. Like you're still driving on the potholed road, like any other person. So there are so many things, like basic things that's sort of easy to come by here.
Yeah, that we don't think about.
That we don't really think about here. In Nigeria, it's expensive. And this is another thing that we thought about, Dayo and I thought about, was that if we were to give our future kids the same level of education that we had growing up, it would be so expensive. We would be able to afford it, but we'll be spending almost every single cent we're earning on school fees. So we thought, you know what, let's try somewhere else. But I was so sure that I was going back to Nigeria, at least for a start, after my master's. Yeah, I think now we think about it, that we just laugh it off. Germany was not on my list. In fact, I had applied to
Wasn't
Canada.
The dream.
It wasn't. It was like, and I remember telling Dad, like, I'm not. I mean, think about it. When you think about Germany, it wasn't. It
The
would
stereotypes aren't like
the stereotypes, and then you hear the language is like a pain
hard
to learn.
The people,
That was not the lie, by the way.
Not the friendliest.
No, and it's just so different from what we are back home. Like this, Nigeria is a very communal, warm country. Like to a fault, because nobody minds their business. Everybody's in everybody's business.
Yeah,
which is, it's not bad, but it's like when you're there, it feels a little stressful. But when you're in a country like this, where someone is literally injured on the floor, and people are just walking by, then you miss. You miss having that sort of.
They say, that, like, you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Until it's gone. And then I came here.
Yeah, and then so. What brought you, like, why Germany? Out of all the European countries, was it like your aunt that was like, hey girl, come, like, study here? What was it about Germany that attracted you all?
To be fair,
yeah, there wasn't any like rhythm or rhyme behind it.
No, I followed a man.
Yeah, true. I mean, look where it ended up. Mo is a mother of 2 children, has a loving husband.
Yeah.
So Dayo was the one that was like, no, I'm gonna go study there. Yeah,
he went. So Tolut, you remember Tolut, right? Tolut was the first person that came to Germany, and then he told Dayo, come on, like, this is really good. It's nice. It's better than having to spend so much money. And I think as at then, US was not even on our list at all. We didn't like the US. And the UK also, we felt it was way too expensive for the quality that we're going to get. And then Tolut was like, guys, you need to try Germany. And then Dayo did, and I was like, okay, fine.
I guess I'm following for a man. But it ended up working out well, right? So you guys moved then to, it was Darmstadt, right?
Darmstadt for my master's.
Yeah. Tell me about your first day. Do you remember, like, how that was? Any feelings? Were you just like, what have I done? Or were you just like, oh, this is cute?
Oh, let me see. So I think I got out of the airport at Frankfurt. And we took a train. And on the train, we got on train from the airport, and there were no seats again. And I was like, so I'm going to have to stand for like 40 minutes train ride. And I was like, okay, this is. And then people were staring. Oh my God, people were staring. I'm like, what is going on? Initially, I felt, did I look exhausted? Because I was exhausted. I mean, at the time, I was 3 months pregnant, so
I know.
It was stressful. It was a really stressful plane ride.
Y'all, Mo moved to Germany pregnant.
Yeah.
And started a master's program. Like, y'all, anything's possible. Like, what's your excuse? Seriously.
And I remember thinking, and I was like, oh yeah, it's normal. I was like, okay. So for
how sad? I was like, yeah, it's normal.
I was like
the Germans just stare. Yeah, they stare.
Like, people stare. And like, what do you do? And I was like, you stare back. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm fine with staring back anyway. Not just stare back, I would mean mug you.
Yeah.
And that's what I do now. Like, you stare at me and I'm like, Like, it's so bad that sometimes when someone starts it and the person has stopped, I'm still looking at the person. And then they just turn and see that I'm still looking, and they're like, yeah, I beat you.
It's like, 2 can play this game, this staring game. I've done that too several times now. I like went years of like feeling insecure about people staring for whatever reason, and you'll never understand the reason, right? No. Like, they don't say anything, they just very clearly stare at you on the bus, like, or on the U-Bahn. And like, after I think like 2 years, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stare back.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look straight in their eyes and stare back. And oftentimes I see them like, Oh.
Yes,
And I'm like, oh, that's
exactly.
wild that this is like unconscious. Like for you, like you didn't even realize that you're like really like eyeing me down until I give you a taste of your own
Medicine.
medicine.
And honestly, this is really bad, but I think I've sort of fallen into that category. I stare also.
Girl, no. Oh my gosh. The Germans are gonna love that. You've integrated.
I stare. But of course I don't do it like the
Yeah.
I just look and like, okay. And then I'm just I move on.
Oh.
But that was the first day. But I think I was just it was I don't know, I was a little overwhelmed and I was tired and I nothing really registered.
Yeah.
But I remember really, really, really clearly that the first thing was like, oh my God, they're staring so much. And then I was like, why?
Oh.
But that was my first day.
So fast forward then a few months in, and I mean, you're going through pregnancy in a foreign country, which was crazy, right?
Yeah.
Unexpected. That was not planned. Like to be pregnant in Germany.
No.
Where was your headspace at? Like being in this country where you're trying to figure things out and where things like were not familiar like they were back at home.
I think for me it was a little different because I already had Dio here who had gotten sort of used to the system and I
Yeah.
didn't need to navigate really a lot on my own. Of course, I had a different experience being a woman, being pregnant, but a lot of the other things like school, like apartment search or insurance or bank
Yeah.
accounts, all of that, it was easier. Although, like, just because life thought I didn't have enough problems to deal with, I lost my passport the first month.
Oh my God.
I got here in Berlin.
Girl.
We had gone to visit Stolz and Tayo in Berlin, and I left. I forgot. I left my bag on a bench, at an U-Bahn station, and I remembered minutes later, but it was gone.
Someone took it?
Yeah,
You never got it back?
No, I never got it back.
What?
I never got it back. The sad part was there was nothing like I didn't have money inside or anything. It was just my passport.
That's kind of scarier though.
it's-
Low-key, it's like,
I lost my
why did you
passport.
want to keep this? Like, don't
I
steal
don't
my
know.
identity.
It just went, and that sort of poured like turned things around a little for us because all of our money was in our blocked account.
Yeah.
Like in we had pulled all of our money into the blocked account.
Yeah.
And I needed my passport to
Oh, that's
unblock
the
my
student
account.
life, girl. Oh, you're
Yeah.
like bringing back trauma. Blocked account.
Oh
I
my
remember
gosh,
that.
so
I
much
had that too. To get a
know.
visa, like for some context, guys, like to get a visa in Germany, a student one, back in the day, you had to have like, you had to prove that you had at least like a year's worth of living. For me in 2016, I think that was like 10,000 euro or something. And then you blocked it like as if you're a little child, like in a bank account, and you can only withdraw like 1/12
Oh no,
of
you
that
can't
amount.
withdraw. They release it to you.
Oh, that. Yeah, that.
Remember, they release it to you
like
every
it was
month.
released in increments, even though it's your money. Like what? Yeah, that was a whole thing.
Yeah, I know. So like I said, I didn't need to navigate a lot myself.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that I was a new student in a foreign country, but also pregnant on top of that, that was a very unique, insane experience that I went through. Oh my God, it was crazy. And for most of that time also I was really sick. So it was, I think everything is a blow. I feel like this is intentional because your mind just plays tricks with you so that you can forget all of that, all the craziness. Like when you're going through things in the thick of it, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to die today.
True.
Like this is overwhelming. I can't
Think
and
of
then
anything else.
Yeah, and then you go back and then there are a few memories would stand out, but everything else would be like a blur to you. You sometimes, at least for me, I remember the feeling. I remember whatever intense feeling I was feeling as at that time, or like I have some very strong memories or some things that are associated with a few things, but some of like the some details are usually very fuzzy until like start speaking about it, and then I oh yeah, this happened.
Damn, I went through that. They say that like we only remember the impactful stuff that's like like major extremes, like either like absolutely horrible or like just the most incredible days, but that like the struggle, kind of the day-to-day struggle in between, we kind of block out.
Like the normal.
We just block out.
The normal in between is just, and that's actually the core part, like the normal, because it's not normal to have like extremely highs or extreme lows all the time. Like that normal part, the one that keeps us sane.
We just blank out. It's like a defense mechanism. That's like life in Germany, right? Like,
Oh,
let's
you
just like
need it.
forget all of those struggles.
Yeah.
On another note, I wanted to ask, are there any stereotypes that you had about Germany, or like that Nigerians in general might have about Germany, and were any of them true?
I think the language.
Yeah,
Oh
of
my
it
god,
being hard. Everyone told you like, oh, it's hard,
it's very hard. And then
and it was. It
there's the
is.
way it sounds also. And I remember back in Nigeria, be like, yeah, this can't be real. I mean, Duolingo is different because Duolingo is not real. Like
No, it's like the
it's a computer.
cat
Yeah,
crosses the
no,
road
no, that's
in a
not
red
it.
car.
Nine. This is die Katze. That's
Yeah,
you don't. Duolingo doesn't do that. Duolingo
yeah,
would be like Katze.
yeah.
Nine. No, but that part was like it hit me how what's the word, how intense
Yeah, yeah.
language is.
And then I think like as English speakers as well, I think it's I mean it's the same, sorry, for
Mm.
any person leaving their country and coming to Germany, like being able to navigate everything in your own home country is just so much easier
Yeah, you go to the
than
supermarket, you can read labels.
yeah. Like the simple things, right? I remember like I think I've cried from like having to call like the Wi-Fi like provider, my internet provider, and like like something so ridiculously simple that like the call just like didn't go well.
Yeah,
And then you just crying and you're just like, oh, this would have been so easy
back
back in my
home.
home country,
I know.
right?
That happened quite a bit. Like I don't even want to go into the trauma that we've had with internet providers in Germany. Every single one of them, there's none that I trust. There's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. No,
no.
I've struck a note there. I can see, right?
Yeah.
I want to move into another segment talking about you building a life abroad, because that's kind of how you came about, right? Like it started off as a master's, and then now you've literally built a life here in Germany, and like became a mother abroad as well. I mean, becoming a mother in general is something very challenging and
Yeah.
beautiful, but for people literally living in their home countries, it's a challenge. And then you've had one too, abroad in a foreign country. So I wanted to start off with asking, what has it been like to raise two children in Germany away from your culture and yeah, where you're from?
Oh my god. It's been chaotic, beautiful, intense, really, really eye-opening,
Yeah.
and just so full. I think like that's how I can describe it. It's like every moment is full. There is nothing.
No silence.
There's no silence. One alone is a handful, but two is madness. Like it's chaotic madness, but it's been really challenging, especially like no help.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
That's
and
a cultural difference as
we
well,
we
right?
we had to grow up so quickly on our own. Before we had Denny, Dio hadn't like I don't think he had ever held a newborn ever. But he didn't have the stress. And I think I remember he was telling me like, oh my God, he looks like a small piece of yam. Like he's so tiny.
Oh,
But he
I
had
love
to.
the comparison. Little yam.
It was like a little piece of yam. That's because then he was a very small baby. He was
Yeah.
really small. And I remember the month that then he was born, that was when he was finishing his master thesis. And in the middle of the night, he was feeding him while he was typing his thesis and running simulations of his, because he studied economics. And of course, a lot of this fell on him because I was really sick
Yeah.
after. So it was, oh my God, I really can't quantify it. With Rolla, it got a little bit easier because, as initially, with Danny, we were broke students. And with Rolla, it was a little easier. I was able to take a year off work.
Working
And
professionals.
yeah, by then, both of us were like working full time. And I was able to take a year off. We had more money to do things like we could get extra help in terms of like cleaning the house, outsourcing food, things
Yeah.
like that. It made things a little easier. But at the beginning with Denny, just when it was just Denny, it was really hard. I mean, you know how our lives were in Munich.
Yeah.
Munich was, oh my God, it was a very stressful time.
Yeah.
Remember how sometimes I had to wake up, I'd be at the office at 6 a.m. because I know I needed to leave around 2, 3 to pick him up.
Yeah.
So that's how we used to, we were literally trying to sync our time. So whoever drops him off in the morning, works a little late. Whoever is picking him up in the afternoon has to go to the office really early. And that was like Monday to Friday. And if you remember, the only kindergarten we could find was the one close to the office. So we literally had to commute 1 hour one way every single day, one way. So on days that we didn't, and then after COVID, when we were all working from home, it was hell because it was one way to Kita, back home, one way back home. And then in the afternoon, one way to go pick to Schwabing. It was in Schwabing. And then, so.
On the topic, I think, of community and cultural differences, I know briefly you had mentioned about the culture of community and how you were shaped by your mom and sister and how they shaped you into the person who you are today. How have you found, raising your children here in Germany then? Have you found your community in a different way? How is that different to like raising a child in Lagos?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely different. I mean, everything here is on you. I think for briefly last year we had a babysitter and it sort of relieved us a little, but that's also so difficult to find. And the last one, it took us like 4 months to find her. So I was not interested in going through that circle of finding someone only for the person to leave after 3 months and then introducing the kids to someone else. So we just let go. But we found our community. We got lucky with Berlin. Berlin was really, that's what I said. It's my ghetto. It's where everything first fell into place for us, right? Like Tolut and Tayo were there already, so it was like, okay, really perfect. Like a ready-made friend for Denny in Jamil. And then when we moved to our complex, it was a really nice place. And we also met one of my closest friends today. I met her there. And then things like we could see the difference between our lives then and here. I mean, here also, you guys were, whenever you could, you res and deal, you always helped. But it's different from having someone who lives literally just
right
across
there
from you. And then I can just say, oh, Chipo, and something is up. Can I bring the kids over to you? And she says, oh yeah, absolutely. And the same thing for her also. And that has really, really helped with the way we've managed to raise them. And for Denny especially, we try to spend as much time as we can with them told outside short visits. So we're always, if it's weekends over at our place or weekends over at their place, so the kids have a lot of time to bond, and then they happen to go to the same school. So it's do you remember earlier in the living room when he said my brother?
Yes.
Everybody who listens, you think I have 3 children. Jamil they call themselves, Jamil calls himself baby number 1, then he's baby number 2, and Rolla is baby number 3. Yeah. So that's
how close they are.
That's how close they are.
With your neighbors.
Thankfully we have found that not everybody's really lucky to get that. But our community is very small, but I like it that small and it works.
Would you say like back in Lagos, the community is much larger?
Oh, much larger.
Like everyone's involved with everyone's life.
Everyone. Like I said, nobody minds their own business. And honestly, I think it's also good in a way because we're trying to raise them different from how we were raised and how some kids are still raised right now. And I think it would have caused quite a bit of conflict if we were still back home with family, for example. So it was good. Just like when we had them, it was difficult, but it was nice that we had each other to figure out all of that on our own without any outside influence, without anybody saying, oh no, you're doing it wrong. This is how it should be done. So that was a plus side to that.
And being that you have been gone now, how many, 6+ years, how do you find yourself staying connected to your Nigerian roots?
Oof, a lot of calls.
Yeah.
Oh my God, a lot of calls, and the kids they're used to it also. Like they all know they know their cousins. Like it's so we try that one we're very intentional about it, so they know all of their omas and opas, and then their cousins and their aunties and uncles. If you ask Denny, he would list everybody out for you. So we try to do that. We try to do that a lot. We are thinking of going back home this year, and he's so looking forward to it. He can't wait because last time he was in Lagos, he didn't really remember. He was still so
He
small.
was still young, right?
It was not even 3 yet.
Okay.
So now he's really, really looking forward to it. He's like, I can't wait to go to Lagos.
Oh,
And we hope that we can, even if it's every year, even if it's just for a week or 2 weeks or every second year, we can go and then try and keep him connected. But one thing we also do, they love music a lot. Both of them love music. And I think Danny would rat out at least 10 Nigerian artists to you.
really?
Yes, we try to listen to Nigerian songs a lot of Nigerian songs.
I love that.
And the food, come on.
I know.
Yeah, they love the
trust
food.
me, I know. Mo has made the most delicious Nigerian food and vegan options for me. I've been honored, blessed to eat your food, girl. So of course, that's a way to preserve culture and like remember where you're from.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. I want to move more into speaking about yourself as an immigrant here in Germany and ask you that overall in your last 6 years, how has your experience been as a Black woman in Germany?
Oh dear.
Hmm?
I was like, oh dear.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I think
You're like, how long do we have?
it's so like it's oh my god, it's so nuanced. It's so the branches like the but I think for my personal life, it hasn't been. The thing is, as you know, there's a certain sort of bubble that you're in. I don't know if this is just me, but for a long while, for the first 4 years, we're in a really, really small bubble, in our own expat bubble. I mean,
especially because of the pandemic.
yeah, exactly. That really messed
Kept the
everything
bubble
up.
tight.
Yeah, and then so it was really just very small. So in our personal lives, I don't. Yeah, of course, there are a few, but most of it is things that I can let go of. Maybe micro aggressions here or there, but work wise, it's been so interesting. And we were talking about this earlier. I remember someone feeling surprised that this was when I just moved that at 26, I had a master's, I had 4 years of work experience, I was married and I had a child. And he was like,
Surprise.
I was like, oh my God, how? And initially I laughed it off. And then I got home and I was talking to him and I was like, yeah, I laughed it off, but so I wonder where it's coming from. Are you using my life as a yardstick of how as a yardstick to evaluate how great or how bad your life is going? Like, do you think that because I'm a Black woman from a third world country, that my achievements should somehow be limited to yours? Like, why are you surprised that I have all of that? And I don't know if it's a cultural thing to sort of take life so slowly, but that doesn't happen in Nigeria.
No?
Like, we know we don't, because
Tell me more.
I mean the average age to graduate university is 20, and that's like the
Wow.
oldest. Yeah, that's the average age of graduating. And the thing is,
So y'all grow up fast.
yeah, we grow up fast. And another thing is, the way it is in the Western world, where a lot of the time you're really independent from a very young age. You're working, you're fending for yourself. It doesn't happen. I didn't work a day in my life until after I graduated university. And that's actually the norm in Nigeria. That's the norm. Like, your parents are responsible for
Really?
everything. And you're at home, nobody expects you to leave. Even when I was making so much money, moving out of the house was not even a thing in my head. And that's how it is. Like, it's normal for a 25-year-old to still live at home.
Wow.
And they aren't paying rent or anything. They contribute to the house in any way they can, but it's not obligatory. And that's how it is. So we tend to, like I told you, like that my brother was like, why are you working in the bank? Like, oh my God, we've discussed this, masters. So I was very happy that I decided to go to Germany, because he had his masters in Germany also.
Yeah.
But this was like long ago, like really long ago. It was in Hamburg.
Wow.
So he loved that I chose Germany, even though I was like, oh my God, the language is going to stress you out so much. I was like, fine. But that's it. It's not rare for a 25-year-old to have achieved quite a bit. And of course, it's for when you come here and then someone is surprised by that, you're like, why? Like, are you so, is your worldview so limited, so small that you only believe whatever crap garbage that white media feeds you? And you're fine to you're fine with holding on to that because it's sort of, it's in sync with what you have in your mind, and anything that is different from what you think is the norm surprises you. I had to deal with that. And I also have had to deal with, oh my God. Recently, I got feedback from work about being too direct. And when I had asked for actual instances, you could tell that it wasn't even about, the content or the context, but this rhetoric of Black women being aggressive because we are strong, because we know our minds, because we know who we are. I didn't even know that was a thing until I moved to Germany.
Crazy.
So many things that have happened. Like, so many, when it doesn't even register to you that you're Black or that you're different until you come to an environment like this.
And suddenly you feel like, the different one out.
And because it's different for African Americans, for example, because that's like it's something that the US has always grappled with. But when you come from Nigeria, when you come from a place like Nigeria or Ghana or whatever African country, it really hits you. Because that's the first time in your life that you're ever a minority.
That you're different.
And you're felt to, and you're made to feel like you are a minority and that you're different. And your difference most of the time is not seen as a normal thing. It's made to, you're made to feel less than. And you have so many times where you're just like, things would happen and then you just have to think so hard. Okay, is this person being racist, or is the person just being ignorant, or just and I got,
or sometimes both
or just insensitive.
And
I remember I just said to myself, like, after a while, like after a year or two, I'm like, I'm not educating anybody. It's not my job to educate you. Like, it's come on. It's the 2000s. It's 2000s. Like, you can literally find anything you want to find if you search hard enough. You don't even need to search hard enough. Like,
there's so many resources.
Silly questions. I remember someone asked me if we had internet.
No.
Yeah, in the university.
That's ridiculous.
I was like, no, we don't.
You're just like playing with them back.
No, I was like, no, we don't. I flew on a broom. I remember someone in class, they were like, oh yeah, we should educate. I was like, absolutely not. You don't tell me how to react to things like that. I mean, to be fair, I know that sometimes I can be a bit intense, especially when it's something really close to my heart, like things like this, like race topics about women, feminism, all of that. But there are some times when I just like, I'm not in the business of helping you get the knowledge that you should have, because you're also putting that on me, on you, on top of the fact that I have to deal with your insensitivity. I have to deal with your bias. I have to deal with your discrimination. You're also then putting the job of teaching you on me. No, it's not happening. I just don't.
On the topic of assumptions, because you said that like you didn't even know that these assumptions existed before you're actually experiencing them in real time. What are some of the things that people here in Germany assume of you as a Nigerian woman that you wish they wouldn't?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think sometimes, okay, this one is more ignorance. Like, sometimes I'm like, I'm from Nigeria, and they're like, oh, are you a princess?
What? Okay. Where did they get that?
I'd be like, no, I wish.
I'd be like,
I would
yes?
not be here. I would not be here. And there's also this.
Interesting. So Germans have been like, oh, are you a princess?
Yeah, because what they see on, like, it's just. I honestly, sometimes I struggle to understand where some of these assumptions even come from. I think maybe someone watches one thing somewhere and then decides, oh, you know what, that has to be the way the entire country is. Like, everybody has to be princesses, and then someone else will assume also that if you're here, because I mean it takes quite a bit of money to migrate the right way, and if you're here, it has to be that your parent is probably a corrupt politician. No, my dad was
Wow,
not a
you've gotten
politician.
that? What? That's wild.
Yeah, my dad was not. He was not a politician. He was just a businessman.
You know what's crazy is that these are probably people who you're also like meeting for the first time, right? Like,
Always.
this never comes from people like close to you.
No,
Like,
no, no. Always.
the audacity.
No, no. It's always people you meet for the first time. This one happened just on Sunday, at my small Edeka. It's like, oh my god, are you a princess? I was like, I wish
You're like, well, if you're asking my husband,
I am one.
yeah,
But that's that, and then the crazy notion that the entire population are scammers. Come on, it's a country of over 200 people, 200 million
million
people.
people.
Of course, there would be bad seeds
Yeah,
everywhere, but you can't just assume that because there are some people that do this, then everybody in the country has to have some sort of fraud money.
Yeah.
If you're not a fraudster, then you're the child of a corrupt politician, and that's why you can afford the things you can afford. Oh, you must be a princess then.
all
Like
of
there's no in
those.
between.
Yeah, no, all of those are incredibly dismissive of all the actual, genuine hard work that it's taken for you to get here. And they're like, okay, no, there must have been another way.
There has to be. It has to be. It's like they try to look for a logical
Yeah.
something that an explanation that feels logical in their minds.
Yeah.
And
No, that's rough. I want to move into a third segment, all about growth and looking forward. And I wanted to start off by asking you, what has living abroad taught yourself that maybe you wouldn't have learned otherwise back at home?
quite a bit. So I think the first thing that I always say is the ability to be able to navigate different cultures. That is such a big gift that you don't know. Right? I remember my first job ever. I had to deal with people from Philippines. I had to deal with people from Brazil. I had to deal with people from, I think, Americas. We had Europeans, a lot of Germans,
Yeah.
and everybody was so different. Like
Different.
it was sort of like if I needed input from someone, the way I would ask the person from Europe was not the same way I would ask the person from Brazil.
Yeah.
Right. It was such a eye opener.
Yeah.
And if I had stayed back home, that would no.
Yeah.
I mean, Nigeria is rich culturally,
Yeah.
but we are still sort of very
United.
and similar. But here, it's like literally people from different ends of the world, and somehow you have to coexist
Yeah.
harmoniously. So that part has been really, really great for me. I think the second part also that has sort of liberated me is this. So I mentioned earlier that Nigeria is communal, right? But it can also be communal to a fault. So when a part of your community is literally sucking the life out of you, you are not allowed in any way to cut that person off.
Ooh.
Yeah, it doesn't
You like
happen.
have to keep the
You just stay there. It's like you're like a
Yeah.
punching bag that you never move, no matter how many blows are thrown at you.
thing.
And being here, one of the things that I just let go was like, yeah, nah.
I don't have to follow that anymore.
No,
You can
I
pick
don't.
and choose parts of your culture that you choose to
Yes.
accept and take with. And like
Yes.
also like I think growth is leaving behind the bits and pieces that you don't want to.
Exactly. And I do what works for me and my family and my life and where I'm at and my sanity, my peace of
Yeah.
mind, my mental health.
Yeah.
And I just go with it. And I sort of it got to a point where I'm like, I'm a grown ass woman.
You're like, "Oh wait, I can decide for myself."
And whatever I choose to do, I choose to do.
Yeah. That's
So
a beautiful thing.
that part that was really good.
Have there ever been moments in Germany that you felt like you're done? Like you just want to give up and go back?
Yeah. During COVID, we were this close to going back. We were very close to going back. Because
What kept you going?
Denny, really. Because I mean that was the one we had, and I just kept thinking like the only reason we left was because of him, even though he wasn't in the picture then, because just we knew that we wanted to have children.
Yeah.
And we're just thinking, yeah, I don't think I want to raise a child in this environment. It seemed
Yeah.
and
So
this was-
foreign.
we just kept thinking, you know what? Like we're doing the best that we can for him. We're giving him opportunities that we don't have. He gets to speak, like he gets to speak several languages. He gets to be in a place where he can really, really grow and be what he wants without any conformity to what, because Nigeria can be, there's a sort of, I don't know how to put it, like conformity. It's different now a little, but it's still there. Like so many stereotypes. For example, I remember, Danny we used to braid his hair, and I remember it took people quite a bit of time to get used to the fact that we were braiding his hair and it was staying. Because it wasn't not here in Germany, back home. In Germany, it's
back
nothing.
home.
Yeah, back home. Like
they had something to say about it.
Yeah, they did.
Really?
And after like 2 or 3 times that of me and Dayo shutting them up, everybody just accepted it.
So they still kind of wanted to have their hands on the situation over here.
They do. Another example, for example, we haven't, Rella's hair is not pierced. That's not normal.
Her ears.
My ears are not pierced. That's not normal. Back home, they pierce it on the day the baby is born.
The same thing in like the Tex-Mex culture. Yeah. It's like they're born, birth certificate, like
immediately
ears.
Like, ears are pierced. And people keep, why? Like I remember till now we still get questions. I'm like, when she wants it, she'll let me know. And I'll do it for her. But those are the type of things that it would have been much difficult.
Yeah. On the topic, because you mentioned Rolla, because Rolla and Denny are Mo's children. What hopes do you have for them growing up here in Germany?
Oh man, that's a very loaded question, because currently I'm very, very torn about it.
Yeah.
I think uncomfortable is it's a very tame word for the way I've been feeling for the past year. Because it seems like ignorance, racism, discrimination is becoming intolerance, hate is becoming so rampant again in Germany. That's not a place I want them to grow up in.
No.
And I'm so afraid, because the world is, like, the internet right now is crazy.
Oh yeah.
We decided, for example, that both of them, no social media or smartphones until at least 16. Until when they're able to actually process, like their brains are able to process and understand consequences and the type of exposure they are putting themselves through to be on the internet. And that's just one of the many things that I'm worried about for the future. But I also have a little bit of hope in the upcoming generation, that we have people that can fight and then pave the way and be like role models. Be the light and be role models for the age group of Denny and Rolla, so that they grow up and they see that, and then they are inspired to contribute as much as they can to make the society or the world a better, safer place.
Yeah.
But right now it's still up in air. If you had asked me this question 3 years ago, I'd have been so full of hope. But currently it's just the.
I feel that. I mean, it's a reflection upon also the US, like down
everywhere.
The garbage fire that's like downturning, like
spiraling down. It feels like it's everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So
and what's hard to hear about that is the fact that you live in Berlin, which has this, like, from the outside, everyone has this perception of Berlin to be like this, like, I don't know, incredible place that's just like a blanket of tolerance and diversity and exception, like, but yet there's still so
my first ever experience
there's still a lot to go
with actual racism was in Berlin.
Wow.
Yeah, that never happened in Darmstadt or Munich. It was in Berlin, and Berlin it's supposed to be the place. But then the thing is, it's a huge city, and then we're surrounded by Brandenburg.
Yeah.
So
it's also the area,
and this is one thing that is. So you want to, like, as a visibly black family, right?
Yeah.
Visibly foreign family. There are some places that you would prefer not to live within in Berlin. That's not a thing in Munich. You can literally live anywhere you want.
Interesting.
But in Berlin, you have to think really well about, like, the voting statistics of that. I mean, I don't know if everybody does it, but I do it a lot because I am very concerned about my space. I'm a homebody. I love being at home a lot. And I need to feel comfortable in my environment. I need to be able to take my kids to the playground and not feel like I'm going to encounter craziness.
Yeah.
I can deal with it, but when it's directed at my children, yeah, I don't want to end up in a police station because I would.
Yeah, I know you would. I have no doubt, girl. You're a fierce mama, ready to defend your children.
So, but it's Berlin is. But don't get me wrong, it's also really beautiful.
Of course.
It's a very unique
Two things can be
place.
two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Life in Berlin, do you feel like you've cultivated a forever home? Forever is such an arbitrary word, right?
I know.
Or does it feel still more temporary? I know you said that like once you guys thought about moving to the UK perhaps or somewhere else. Where's that at now?
I think for now it's our home. I think if you remember before, we never actually talked about getting the citizenship. We're not interested in it.
True.
Well, it's like I don't know if it's because of Berlin, or if it's because the whole time in Darmstadt and Dai was in Kiel and in Munich, everything was still sort of transitional. Like as I think we're still students, nothing was permanent. We're still struggling from contracts to contract, and then
And
everything
that's so
was
many cities.
I know.
Like Kiel, Darmstadt,
Munich, Berlin. So we've sort of hit
the whole Germany tour.
Yeah. But Berlin is really, it's actually become home.
Yeah.
For us. It's really become home. Like, you know, when you live in a city already that you know the streets, you know like the Bezeks, you listen to jokes about the city and you get it. That's it's a feeling that it's difficult to let go of. And like Tenny's in a fantastic school. So I think it's we are staying.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful.
Berlin.
That's a silver lining that like despite all the challenges, like you've built community, you have made a home, and that you guys are happy at the moment.
We are.
That's a beautiful thing to hear. If you could give advice to someone considering moving abroad, or someone, a person of color in particular, what would that be?
I want to talk to, I would specific women of color, because that's like, we're at the bottom of the pyramid. It's crazy to navigate sometimes. But one thing that I would always say is never ever make yourself small. Do not allow someone else's perception of you, or someone else's projections on you to define who you are as a person. It's so easy to get caught up in, oh my God, this is just, I'm here, I'm grateful to be here, I'm just going to put my head down and do everything easily. But no, like, be authentically yourself. And I think another thing with Germans is that directness. That's the part I love the most, because I'm a very direct person also. And that was the easiest part. I know some people struggled with that culture shock, but me, no, it was like,
you're like, yes, finally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing with Germans is you really have to be direct, right? If someone says something or does something that you don't like the first time,
tell them.
Don't take it and be like, oh my God, okay, fine. I don't feel too. It's not so bad. And then the second time it happens, the third time it happens, and then you're like, oh, now I need to explode. And then you feel sad. You feel upset because the person doesn't realize why. Like, oh my God, but I've been saying this and you never told me. That's just one small example.
Yeah.
But never, ever, ever make yourself feel small.
That's absolutely beautiful. Mo, I'm sitting here completely inspired, because I had moments also when I first moved to Germany where I would wear red lipstick or whatever, and people were like, are you going to a party? And I literally so then like for like 2 years I wouldn't wear red lipstick because someone had told me that, and like I just felt like I was losing a bit of who I was, and like my culture, and like my expression. And I luckily a few years ago, pandemic time, like I feel like that was a moment where I was reclaiming that, right? Of just like, not forgetting who you are, not making yourself small. I think it's like Germany is such a country where like immigration, in a way that like to immigrate, you want to like, I don't know, blend in. I'm
never
like,
blending in.
You don't have like, I honestly feel like you can respectfully immigrate here
and
still stand out. Exactly. And like literally still remember who you are. And I think that's something, so important for many people to hear. Like, don't lose yourself.
Don't.
Seriously, because like that's what makes you
and
you.
From the start. Like it's going to be difficult, but if you have it consciously seared into the back of your mind. Just always approach all of your interactions that way. And
Absolutely. I want to finish off with a few this or that's to end this episode. So I will start with asking German Milchreis, which, okay, girl, yeah, I already know the answer, or Nigerian jollof rice.
Nigerian jollof rice every single time.
Have you had milk rice?
9.
No? Okay, it's not that bad. It's pretty good. But you're like, no. Jollof rice every day.
Jollof rice.
A Berlin winter or Lagos traffic?
Berlin winter. I don't care. Give me -20 in Berlin.
Really? So like Lagos traffic is just
Jesus,
like,
no, absolutely not.
the worst.
Absolute worst.
Big city life or small town peace? Or both?
I'm a big city life girl at heart.
Yeah.
Like even Lagos, it's big also.
True. Berlin's like small for you in comparison.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. But I think a little blend of both. Maybe not. I can't do Dorf life. Like no.
True.
But maybe
that's like an extreme.
In between.
Like, the Dorf is the German village. Yeah, and like that's
maybe in between. But if I had to pick, I would always pick big city.
City girl.
Yeah.
Street food, like in Lagos or beer gardens.
Street food in Lagos.
Ooh, tell me more. What do you miss? What's your favorite thing to get off the street? Right now,
roasted corn.
Ooh, oh my gosh, where I'm from, like we also have like corn stands. Like there was a corn man that I'd go to every day. Like
roasted corn with crispy, fresh coconut.
Ooh.
Fried sweet potatoes.
Ooh.
Fried yams.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah,
the beer gardens,
street food.
Yeah, they just don't. I mean, they're nice. They're nice.
Really nice. Their vibe is nice.
They're nice for what they are. Very nice. But when you compare them,
hands down, Lagos street food.
Ooh, okay. And then my last and final question would be Nigerian spice or German salt and pepper. I thought I'd make you laugh.
Oh my god, it's not even a question.
I love that. Period. Nigerian spice all day, every day.
Yeah.
Y'all, you guys, if you take anything from this episode, please go try Nigerian food.
Please.
It is exquisite. It's so delicious, like flavorful. German food just could never. Could never.
No, I'm sorry.
Mo, thank you so much for your time today. I had so much fun.
I did too.
Thank you for sharing. All of this. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I wanted to like pinpoint something, but I was like, no, thanks for sharing everything. No, but really, it was beautiful. I felt like your heart opened up a bit. I always feel privileged to hear you speak, girl. I always learn so much from you. And I want to continue learning from you in our beautiful friendship.
Thank you.
Cheers to that.
I love you, girl.
Oh, I love you too, Mo. And thanks everyone for listening. And yeah, we will catch you next week. The Pod Abroad's video, audio, and music is produced and edited by Tim Teherne. Make sure to give us a follow and leave a comment if you like this episode.